Hey y'all, and welcome back. My name is Naz.
And my name's Ronnie.
And we are
New Girls on the Block.
This week we have a new topic that we're going to talk about, and it is no more thoughting.
Yes.
Question mark.
It's
question
done
mark,
that, y'all.
For real. So we've been following the girlies, and we've seen that Black China, Miss Queen, has gotten her, what is it? What is all stuff?
Well, she got her butt removed or reduced, her implants. I think she's slowly taking out the filler in her body.
Oh.
And she says she's doing her face next. And taking off all of, I think she got it.
Did, yeah.
She got all the filler dissolved in her face. I think she still looks good.
Yeah, I was like, it don't really look that, like, why does she need that in the first place? But I know it takes time to, like, slowly,
like, take it out. Because I feel like because when you get filler, you're inflating the area and you're filling it with something. It's just like if you lose weight really quick, like, it might show some sagginess of the skin. So I feel like she's slowly doing it so her face doesn't, like, just look like it has a lot of extra skin or wrinkles.
True. So she might have to take process it slower than just like fully going out, because I seen that they posted of course shade room, because they gonna be
shady.
Yeah, but I seen that they posted her like how she looked after, and she looked the same, like not,
she looked more like her mom.
Yeah, but she looked like just a little, like, it made her face look a little like thinner. But I feel like once it really start processing, it's gonna look back to normal. And
I feel like her skin elasticity just needs to like snatch back. I'm sure you could do facial exercises.
True.
I don't know, but I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah, for real. But I think she looks good. I think it's a good move for her. I love to hear stuff like that, because I feel like when people get all this stuff, and more power to you, like, I don't mind. It's nothing, hey, it's not me. I'm not against it or anything like that.
No judgment here.
Yeah, no judgment at all. But I feel like for people to understand it, for people who got it out of, like, what's it called? Like, just wanted to feel
good, or like validate themselves, or
then
fit into a trend.
Then it's like, what are you really doing that for? And now that you're doing it, it's like, it's a healing process. I'm glad for her that for her it's a healing process to change, the filler and stuff that she.
And speaking of healing processes, I feel like it's like a bigger theme. Like, I know she's removing or reducing, I should say, some plastic surgery she got in her body in the past. But I think overall there's like a wave right now where women in general are like taking a step back. They're like rethinking like what it means to be attractive. I think to themselves and to men and to like the greater society. Really. I feel like the beauty standard is like live and shifting right now. I feel like the curvy body will always be attractive, but I think the overly accentuated like plastic surgery, like crazy body is out of style now. And I think as a whole, that era of women, like I don't know if it was them leaning into their sexuality and being hypersexual. I think they're kind of rethinking it, because I feel like it started off as a movement, like the whole like even back when Amber Rose was doing it with the slut walk and everything. The free, like the city girl, or I don't even know what to call it, like the movement of women like really embracing their sexuality.
Sexual empowerment.
Sexual liberation.
Sexual liberation.
The sexual liberation movement of the 2010s. I feel like women started off by like reclaiming their sexuality, but I think towards the end of it, they kind of started to just form into what men thought was sexually attractive, and it started to be like this great thing for women, and it shifted to something that was through the male gaze. And I feel like that's when women like kind of like lost their like power, or their I don't know, it just like the movement kind of lost its direction. And now I feel like women are taking a step back and feeling like, okay, where do I fit into this movement? Like, do I really want to be using guys only for transactions? Do I really want to be putting my body out there like that? Not saying it's right or wrong. We're going to get into it throughout the episode, but I definitely think it's a shift.
I totally agree. I feel like it's a shift, and I feel like it's a shift for the people who jumped into the movement just believing like hey, this is what's trending and this is what every woman is doing right now, and I want to try it because it's getting the attention, it's getting the views. Like, and we talked about this last episode with the
shift of social media.
But I feel like everything has, like, even this, like the hypersexual woman and being free and liberal. Of course, everybody is free to do whatever they completely want, but if you're just doing that because you see a trend of everybody else is doing it, it's like, are you really genuine with the way you feel? Are you confident and this is what you want to do? Or is it like, okay, I'm just following a trend and now it's like I'm feeling crazy because I'm
because it's not sustainable. Being a city girl, like if you really think about like what a true city girl like represents, like really not giving a fuck about these men and their opinions, really using these men for what they got, and using what you have to get what you want. I don't think as much as like Megan, City Girls, Black China, all these women tried to push that narrative, and we went along with it. Different women went along with it at different levels. But I don't think it's for everybody. I think it's not for the weak of heart. True. Like really after a while it gets like kind of dehumanizing, and then you kind of start to look at every man in a certain way, and it kind of gets gross. Like, and when it's time for you to settle down and raise your own kids or really develop a relationship, if you've been living throughout your 20s this hot girl narrative where you don't form any connection with men, or it's just like, okay, I'm only dating you for what you have, not the way you make me feel. Like, how does that become sustainable? True. Like, how do you grow with that kind of mindset?
I don't know. And that's how I feel too. I feel like we're getting sold like, oh yeah, F these dudes, all blah, like make them spend on you. And it's like, it's becoming like a pattern. And I'm like not saying, because I don't want to be like I'm on the men's side or women's side, but I feel like it's put a narrative out there and a lot of people start degrading men. And even though like women has been degraded too long and still to this day is being degraded, but I feel like it's not like equality is equality, and that's what we all should strive for, is complete equality and
not dominance over one another.
So I feel like it's kind of starting to become like a dominance over, like they, you know, they do everything for me. I need this, blah blah. I need that, instead of like really, like you said, building a formable connection or relationship with someone.
I think women as well are like, I think there's very good things that came out of the movement. I feel like it taught women to not depend on men. It taught women to like that movement happened not only because of the women around it that pushed it, but I feel like that was a time like women have been starting businesses at like historic rates, especially Black women getting all this education, starting businesses. It was to the point where it felt like, what I need a man for? If I'm getting money, I'm getting my hair done, like it costs a lot to look good. Like get your hair done, your nails done, your facial, your eyelashes, and wax, all that, and then for you to be having to put up with a man who's not really doing nothing for you. Hell no, fuck that man. But I also think with everything we need balance, and it created an atmosphere for women to be like hyper independent. Like, and it's good to be able to take care of everything you need. But what happens when you want to be spoiled, when you want to be soft, when you want to like, and that might have been like the soft girl era is rising, and being that hyper independent, like that's kind of taking like a back seat right now.
And even like I feel like the way, okay, not saying it's just men and women, because hey, you guys like who you like too. It's not just like a man woman thing. But if women are like that, like, you know, I feel like men get intimidated by that, and it's not like oh, you shouldn't be going to get your bag because this man is intimidated by you. I feel like they need growth too, but if they see this woman has everything, like a lot of people probably feel like,
where do I fit in?
What can I do for her? She has everything. It's like I can't. So it's like it kind of makes men feel probably lesser.
I mean, they need to match the energy.
Like, pretty much. So
that should be inspiring a man to.
But a lot of them don't be inspired. They just be like, oh, she just do too much, and it's.
But that's also, I feel like, with the rise of like the independent woman, you know what that created?
Dependent men.
Or them hyper like alpha male like Andrew Tate followers, because they seen all the women becoming independent. They're like, oh, these women are getting their rights. Let's put these hoes back in their place.
Yeah.
Let's create this whole community pushing women back to being submissive, to being in the kitchen naked, not having no education, because it's like you go from here to there, but we need to be in the middle.
I be forgetting about those people, but
they get relevant.
But that is true, because it's like they see they can't fit in, and it's like, I'm gonna just dog these women because I don't have no place in their life.
So now I hate them.
When it's like, why not support? Like, I feel like all it should be is just supporting each other. If you're looking at some, like, you know, trying to find somebody, blah, blah, blah. If you're trying to find somebody that's on a level and you're not on that level, that should be motivation to get you on that level. If you, like, are, like, vice versa, like, even a man or a woman, like, I feel like you should, I don't know, I feel like it should be, like, you should look at them as not competition. And I feel like a lot of people get in relationships and compete with their partner. And that is, like, so crazy to me.
I feel like I used to, well, not compete, but I feel like not so much anymore, but I used it as motivational purposes. Like when a partner would get a new job, I'm like, okay, they're reaching this level. I don't want to still be stagnant.
No, of course.
So let me get up here and push myself and grind harder.
Yeah, I feel like that's different, but like, I feel like a lot of, like, I'm more talking of like, say how, like, we were talking about, like, a successful woman. The man is like
jealous now.
Yeah, like not really compete, but like a jealousy, like she got this, so like, oh, like,
now you want to tear her down, make her feel like shit. Yeah, it's a lot of these men out here like that, and they want to put you in your place now and make you feel like you low because you're 6. I honestly feel like a lot of men be in relationships and they start to hate their girlfriends.
Yeah, and I think that's where I was going with this, instead of like really like competing, more of like, like a jealousy, like, why are you
animosity, or
why are you not happy for your person to be successful and like to be doing her thing? Like, that should be motivation, like, oh, I'm gonna be a supportive boyfriend, husband, blah blah blah, instead of tearing her down just because you not reaching them, like, or even trying. Because I feel like in all, if the woman is successful and the man is actually trying, like, it's like, oh wow, he's like being supportive, he's trying to work on his thing, I want to boost him up. Like, that's how it should be. Balance. It should be balanced and equal within both parts. Like, and so I don't know, I just feel like, I don't know, a lot of these ones is crazy now.
Yeah, so I definitely understand how the movement of like women being like very empowered, whether it be sexually, financially, socially. Yeah. I think that was a movement that needed to happen, because for a long time girls were just in the background, like just dependent on a man. Yeah. I feel like we shot through the roof. Yeah. And we took our power back. We reclaimed our time, which is a beautiful thing that needed to happen. I feel like it happened on all levels. From music to the City Girls, Megan Thee Stallion, Miley Cyrus, all these beautiful, powerful women pushing their narrative. From us seeing women open businesses, women we got our first female president. Oh yeah, like we got so many. Yeah, vice president. Sorry. I be forgetting about close. Yeah, she was close. But yeah, so much stuff happened for women, which was monumental, and which needed to happen. But I feel like now we've hit in this point where it's like, okay, where do we go from here? Yeah. And I feel like a lot of women, specifically in like the urban culture, pop culture, we were talking about Alexis Sky, Black China, all these women who are taking a step back and saying, okay, I'm getting older now, I'm raising kids now, like, is this really what I want to be giving out? Or like, I really like Brittany Reiner. She came to fame by writing a book. It was like the Superhead book 2.0 of our generation, where she wrote a book about being with different men in the industry. That was her claim to fame, and then from there she was seen, she's been inspired with like Kevin Gates, being with him and different things, and she's always been super outspoken for being like sexually free and liberated, even from like her baby daddy. I don't know if you remember that when he was like 17 or something. She was doing what she doing. We're not even gonna get on that.
Yeah, that's a whole
nother topic. But I think now that she's getting older and she's raising a kid and she's taken some time to really think about her place in pop culture, I feel like she started to realize, okay, outside of my sexuality, what have I like established for myself? Yeah. And I think sometimes when you really take that time to really think about that, and then it's kind of like, well, what else have you established? You start to try to move in a different direction, and you have this amazing platform these women have, and it's just like, do I really just want to be known for preying on underage football players, or just being a girl who wrote the book about sleeping with all these men who were, whether they were in relationships, single or not, but like, where do you go from there?
Yeah, and I feel like it works for, like you said, some people are like built for it, and some people can like manage that type of image throughout, because that's the crazy thing, like people will talk no matter what. And people are always gonna have their opinions about whatever you do no matter what. So I feel like some people can, but how we were talking about, a lot of girls are just jumping into this like look and this thing just because they know it's gonna set like sex sales, looking good sales
on Instagram. Because half of these girls, they're not even getting, I don't feel like, the benefits of like the girls they look up to. That are like getting flown out. Like, y'all, not everybody could be Christian. Like
for real though.
Like it end up with the billionaire who she just see what she see, and like, you know. And
I feel like that would
don't seem that happy.
Yeah, and I was just about to say that it seems like that would get tiring. Keep trying to reach these like goals to just like be with some rapper who got money or whoever who has money, when it's like, I don't know. It just seems like you said, like it's not sustainable. It's not like a sustainable business.
Because after a certain amount of guys buying you stuff, like, it becomes like, okay. And especially if you have your own money, you could buy yourself something. Like, from there, it's just like,
what do you
outside of the guy doing something for me financially, do they really give a fuck if I'm alive or dead? Like, if I was to go today, like, what would they really do for my kids? What would they do for my mom? What would they do for my family? Like, or would I just be that girl who was cute on Instagram with a fat ass? Like,
I feel like most of these things need more substance to be a sustainable practice. If that's so I feel like with Britney, maybe it just wasn't really like, she wasn't really built for just like sustaining that lifestyle of being hypersexual, sleeping with these people, having kids with football players and stuff like that. But now that she's realizing it, because she's like literally a person, and I feel like a lot of people who are like this are not looked at people just like sex symbols. And like all these like all these people who just be online like saying, lusting after these people, are not realizing that people have feelings, people have their own things they go through every day, and like this person's a human being. So I don't know, like, be more,
have substance, like, and then after being lusted after, like, we all love the instant gratification of somebody funny, attractive, getting those likes, like a blue check mark in our DMs. Like, we all, like, we would be lying to ourselves if we said it didn't give us some amount of validation. But after a while, it's just like, even with like Amber Rose, when she was doing an interview and she was just like, I'm just tired, like I'm not interested of dating any men. Like, it kind of, when you're in that lifestyle and it's kind of becomes transactional, and you come to the understanding that I'm this amazing person, like Amber Rose, Brittany Reiner, Black China, these women are all amazingly smart women who build millions of dollars off of fucking Instagram. Millions of followers, engagement, they build businesses off that. But after that, like, and you realize that these guys don't really care that much, I feel like you would just start to look at men in general with like just disgust. Like, and you're supposed to be dating that upper echelon, the men that every woman wants, the basketball players, the football. I don't know who. I hope y'all not still lusting after these rappers in 2023. Mm-hmm. But they have access to the men that everybody want, but it's just like, ick. Like, these men are just regular guys, and it's just like, you start to realize that these guys are just as corny as the guy down the block. These guys are just as like irritating when they can't leave with money. What do they have?
And that's the thing. Like, I feel like if we're looking for, and if you, like I said, if you're looking just for that, like just the man, and you just like the transactional things, you don't care about them, they don't care about you, whatever, and y'all just building a relationship like that, then that's different. That's you living your life fun and blah blah blah. But I feel like for a substantial relationship building, it has to be like a real connection. And most of the time, a man, like now, like these artists and stuff, they know that their money could get them any girl that they want, so they don't even look at women like, you know, like,
they look at them as transactions. Women look at the guy as transactions.
So what is really being built? Like,
there's nothing really substantial being built. And even if you think about the Drake lyrics, "Tell China it be worth the flight." When did he rap that? We was in high school. She's been in this industry for a decade, being either used by men, using men, rather it be her getting Future's name tattooed and him not even acknowledging her and her having to get it removed, to her going after Rob Kardashian and getting his baby for what? For what? Like, and it, like, when you look at your children and like the things you create from these environments, it has to kind of get to you to a little extent. No judgment. No. Because I'm sure she loves her child.
Of course,
from the environment it was created from, I'm sure she would have rather did that slightly different.
And like we said, we don't know her lifestyle or how she feels about what that whole situation was. But coming from a person like me, if that was me in that situation, I would feel like, dang, it's like, I'm just like really that, like, processing money, like everything's just transactional when it should be, like, I don't know, I'm more of a person that likes to base stuff off of real feelings and like my true feelings and not just like a transactional thing. But
and I think it's something to be said, these women are also acting off of like survival. Like they're needing to, like, they don't have the privilege, because like, not to make this all about Blac Chyna, but bringing up Blac Chyna and Kim Kardashian, they did very similar things to get to where they're at. Only one of them is looked at in a very derogatory way, in a very cheap way, in a very like ill type of way, when they're cut from the same cloth. One just happens to be a little richer
and a little bit whiter. And better. Well managed. Like her mama. I feel like she put them on.
She got that proper pussy management. Chris, she don't play, girl.
She don't.
Hit my line.
For real. She gonna make them some money.
But I kind of lost my train of thought. But just comparing Blac Chyna to Kim, I feel like both of them are in the same realm. She only gets judged based off of the things she do, the men she date. Kim still gets judged to an extent, but it's still glamorized, highly glamorized. And I feel like even Kim and Kylie and all them, they're kind of taking a step back too, as well. Like, they've decreased their bodies. They've started to take out their ethnic features that they have added in the past, whether it be their lips or their derrieres, their asses. They started to take a step back, and some people may think it's because they don't want to relate to like the poor folk anymore. But I also think Kim and Kylie and all of them, they're getting older, they have children, maybe they build up their business. They don't have to be known as sex symbols anymore.
Exactly.
I feel like they feel like they put in the work. And now let's fall back. Let's be more not as hypersexualized, and let us be businesswomen now. Let us lean into our skins, into our lip gloss company, into our good American jeans. Like, let us lean into that and be more relatable to the everyday woman, and not really like something that these women can never achieve, or something that's just really dependent on the male gaze. Because I feel like a lot of their success was built off of what black men and men in general find attractive.
Yeah.
But now they don't have to depend on what a man find attractive, and they can fall into their boss girl era.
Yeah.
And just like.
And then now it's like, wow, they're just like
businesswomen.
I'm trying to get like that, and like it's totally a shift. I totally agree, and I see it in a lot of these not just influencers, but a lot of stuff. And I feel like maybe it is just taking a toll on people and their actual like feelings and personal lives, like what they really want to do or want to achieve in life.
Yeah, and then once you start having kids, you don't want your kids to be able to look that stuff up as easily. Like North is on TikTok.
For real.
Like if her mom did a naked photo shoot next week, it'll be easier for North to see it, even though she claimed that everything is like unreachable to North and the kids. But
nothing's unreachable to no kid. Kids can find anything.
She says she can't find nothing on her daddy or her mom and doing all this stuff, but she could find Ice Spice twerking and she could redo the video. So
so it gotta be some way she finds this stuff. But overall I feel like there has been a shift, and not saying it's good or bad, because I feel like it's good for the women who don't want to do this no more.
But there's always, let's get it clear, it's always going to be a group of women that was made for this, don't pay for this. It's always, somebody turn 18 every year. There's always somebody cute coming up, trying to get out of that struggle, looking to somebody to save them, or to somebody to boost their career in whatever type of way. So the women who were going to do it regardless, I think they're still going to do it regardless, but on a mass level,
it seems
I don't know if it's going to be pushed. And question, have you noticed that the women who were pushing this narrative are all in relationships? Megan, how long has she been in her relationship?
For a good amount now.
Megan, JT.
Yeah, but if you realize, before they got in a relationship, they were talking about this, because Megan wasn't always in a relationship. It was like before she got in her relationship,
she was talking about this.
And now she's kind of like taking a step back, but it's still talked about, but it seems
not
like
as much.
Milder. But I feel like, and that's what I feel like even about rap, like a lot of these artists and people who talk about, I'm getting all these hoes, I'm getting the money, blah, blah, blah. Like 2 Chainz, like not
he married.
Been married.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg been married for years, have a relationship. Like I feel like it's
the idea.
That sells. The what sells is what they're putting out. They notice that this is selling, so they're not gonna be like, oh, my wife, going to my wife at night, because they know what sells. So they're selling this stuff. These people who are listening getting influenced and acting on it when they're not even acting on it.
And do you think, I also think it might be that the people, like we were introduced to this narrative like 4 to like 8 years ago. I feel like it started with like the slut walk and all that stuff, and it carried on through social media, through rappers and pop culture. But I feel like the people who are consuming it and buying into it are also getting older. Because I remember going to the slut walk like my first year of college, like after out of high school. But I'm 27 now. I'm done with high school, I'm done with college, and my personal, like what I want in life is changing as well. So maybe it's not as easy for people to buy in, or the women who were in that generation, because they're getting older and they might not be able to tap into the generation underneath us. Our younger sisters may look at them as being a little old or out of date. Maybe they're like, okay, let me rebrand myself into something that's going to be relatable to the girls that are in their mid-20s, late 20s, and then getting older.
And then something that the younger generation could look up to more, like this is how my life went, and now I'm this successful businesswoman. I got all my coin, and I do this, do that, do that. So it's like, oh, this is how
even if you was starting to bopping in college, don't worry, girl.
For real.
You can still turn it around. Turn it around and get what you want out of life. So, I don't know.
I don't look at it as a bad thing. I feel like growth is important for all of us, because I'm definitely not the same person I was in college. I don't even... Like literally, like high school, different. College, I changed from what I was in high school. Now I'm a totally different person. My mindset is totally different. I'm like, and that's the power of growth. And I feel like if you're doing something, like say if these girls are doing the same thing continuously for like 50 years, nobody gonna want to see that forever.
Nobody want to see the 40-year-old stripper at the club with the marks, the ultrasound, or what is that called?
Stretch marks?
No, when you can see the C-section marks and all that stuff.
Yeah, and not saying like, because hey, get your bag, do whatever you want, but literally growth comes in many different waves and many different like ways.
Yeah.
So I feel like once you realize like back then I'm changed and like, and I feel like that's what's going on. A lot of us like we're getting older. Back then, like when we were in college, it was like those were our age people. Now they're getting older and we're getting older. Everybody's like more maturing and shifting into a life that's more calm and not having to be this
commodity.
Yeah, or this like not like what is it? Like an action figure, kind of like a perfect or like what they want to see.
The perfect girl that every guy likes. Yeah. And it's just like, I'm just so sexy, so hot, so I'm slutty and cool, and then fun.
Yeah, it's like it's getting to a point where we really need to be real with ourselves and other people. So I feel like as we get older, this is just how it's like the change is gonna be. And if you don't change, there's no growth. So it's like I feel like with change comes growth. New growth, new beginnings, and I'm 100% happy for China. Whoever else would make that switch. If that's what y'all want to do, hey.
Growth is always important. And I would also like to say for the girls who still are finding their way with their own sexuality or sensuality, appearing sexy, being sexy, having agency over your body. Because even though we did make a lot of strides in the era of being a hot girl and a city girl, there's also been direct pushback from Roe versus Wade. Women's freedoms are still under attack. So it's very important that we continue to think about, okay, what does my sexuality mean to me? What does my sensuality mean to me? What does that look like in the way I express it? Because I think as women, it's always going to be a topic of discussion. And I think just because there's a group of women who are like shifting in what they prioritize and what they want to put out, people the masses should still be considering, okay, how do I want to navigate my sexuality in my everyday life to where I still have the agency over my own body, over my own thoughts, over the way I express myself sexually, whether it be the clothes I wear, the way I wear my hair, the way I, do my makeup. Those are all important. And just because it's not as trendy right now, doesn't mean we still shouldn't be thinking about those things. Because in real life, it's still important,
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like how you mentioned the girls are like, worried about all the makeup, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like once you realize this is somebody's job and this is what they do for I don't know. So for me, I started to look at things differently and how keeping up with makeup, this is something that is really a job, and it's something these girls have to do to keep their image up.
To stay relevant.
If it gets to a point where it's because I know for a fact I'll be tired. Shit, I gotta do all of this stuff all the time. I gotta make sure everything photo shoots, bookings, all of this stuff.
I gotta make sure I stay relevant. I gotta make sure I look good to my men at home and all the men on Instagram. I gotta make sure my hair is done, my makeup is done, and if somebody catches me off, I'm suddenly not as attractive, I'm not as worthy, I'm not as and
can't even post a real pic, and I feel like that's the issue with it is they have to be this persona online. They have to make sure that they're not, like you said, somebody catch them slipping. They can't be real, and it kind of sucks because even though this is what they're choosing to do, I feel it's still literally everything is just a job. This is something they're getting money for. This is their job. So they have to maintain it and have to stay relevant, have to make sure they're posting on Instagram every so often, posting on quality sites or whatever.
So people don't forget about them.
Yeah, but it like I feel like that can get really daunting. So if most people are making the shift and trying to figure out what they really want to do, it's like helpful, I feel like, and it's gonna make them grow as a better person, I guess.
Yes.
Or so that's what I would believe, because I feel like this is literally, if people don't realize that this is a job as well and they just want to jump into it like, oh, I'm trying to be like the hot girl, I'm trying to be like this, blah blah, and not realize all the work that is still put into keeping up that image, it's like, are you gonna be sustainable with it?
Yeah,
are
you gonna be successful, and are you gonna be happy after you do all that stuff, after your nails done, your hair is done? Like, we all like feeling pretty, excuse me, but it's just like you have to have. Being pretty, being a hot girl, being sexually liberated can't be your only personality trait.
Yeah.
You know, and you gotta have other things to fall back onto.
Yeah.
To naturally transition into other things you like, because it's important.
Yeah.
Still be that hot girl, still be sexy, still be whoever you want, but that shouldn't only be you.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I feel like more people should realize that it is a business and it is like transactional and it is like not, I feel like if more people realize and appreciate the art of it and like, okay, this is art, this is not who they are, I don't have to be like
the spitting image and do every single thing, like, yeah,
or even like looking at them like this is like not as a person. I feel like more people need to realize like how these people are actual people and like appreciate the art, but not just think that this is what everybody is 24/7 and like this is real life, because I think that's what I feel like Instagram just sells, a dream of what you think you're supposed to be like, because all these people are trying to be what everybody wants to be, you know.
It's just not realistic.
It's not like, this is not real life. So I feel like the more people realize that and appreciate the art for, because it's art, I feel like it's a similarity to like photography, it's a similarity to,
it's hard to be a bad. You see pictures, you see these girls, it's hard to maintain that, like, and keep it up.
Going to the
like,
gym, staying the same, like, that's a lot, and it's a lot on a person. So
it's like you're a vessel for what society wants or finds attractive, and you're always shifting and shaping and like molding yourself to fit into the beauty standard.
And imagine if you don't have the mindset to like I don't personally. I feel like if I had to do that all the time, like my mindset would be like, wow, I'm really having to, like, really, I can't even eat what I want. I have to make sure my body is staying looking good. I have to take these pictures to stay. It's a lot for some people, and some people are like, this is a strong job, and people, some people are strong enough to do the job, but some people, like you said, like, it's like,
and they're not made for it.
Yeah, not made for it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This is just such a good conversation.
I know.
I'm very excited to see where these women shift to. I know some of them have some haters. Like, I seen Black China Mom hated on her. She's a fucking
that's what I wanted to get into.
It be your own people. It be your own folks. Like, her mama's sick.
Because why would you?
She's jealous. That's envy. That's pure just.
And imagine her childhood. That's what, when she was talking like that, I'm just like.
Have you seen her show before?
I've seen like clips and stuff here and there.
Bro, when I watched that, I was just like, I literally had to turn it off because it was like traumatizing. Yeah. It's like her mom got that, it's like a symptom. It don't hit each Black family, but it's a group of Black mothers that be very, very envious or hateful towards, especially the first daughter they have. I don't know if they feel like the daughter took something from them or it's like, I've experienced a little bit in my personal life with my mom, but it just feels very sick to see a mother like really hate on her daughter like that. It's and crazy. Really just have like animosity towards their daughter, especially when their daughter is doing such a important, profound thing in her own self-growth. Like, your mom should be your writer, should be right there to champion you to get to the next level. And her mom is just a fucking hater.
And that's so sick. Like, that's the reason why I'm like, I feel for Blac Chyna, because it's like your own, like, I can't even imagine what she went through as a kid if her mom is talking about her like this now into the public. Imagine what she was doing behind closed doors and the way she treated her to even end up in this lifestyle in the first place, you know?
Because her mom was a stripper too.
Yeah.
And not saying there's nothing wrong with being a stripper, because baby, get your money.
Period.
I love stripper. I love them girls.
Yeah.
But I feel like her mom definitely created an environment where she probably didn't feel as worthy. She probably didn't feel as like appreciated outside of her sexuality or her sensuality or her physical appearance and what she had to offer the world in that aspect.
Yes.
Like, these girls, like, I'm gonna always repeat it, like, people try to shit on them, but these girls like Black China, even Kim Kardashian, all these girls, they've done something that's so amazing that I feel like people should make case studies on in the future. Like, they literally turned from being like either doing a sex tape or being a girl from DC and just meeting Drake or Tyga in a strip club and turning them into lucrative careers that have made them multi-millionaires.
Over decades, low key. Actually, hypey. It's been decades.
Yeah,
and they're still
been pulling in money, being relevant. Like, we're still tuned into what Black China is doing.
Yes.
And I feel like that's amazing. But it's crazy that they're only known for what they have to do sexually. And maybe that's another part of what it is. Like, they want all their aspects of them. Like, I'm sure they love to get dressed up, be sexual, be sensual, be desired. Who doesn't want that? But I'm sure it's disheartening when that's the only focus of people, when you have so much more to offer. Like, imagine all the game Black China could give somebody.
For real.
Like,
I would like to see a documentary on her and like just to see all the things that she's been
interested.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like we have to realize that these people was really like getting the bag, and not even like from just a sexuality point, but like a business mindset, and like you said, mentioned earlier, like these women are smart, like business moguls that build brands from the ground up, like so
from being sexual, from being just strippers, the outcasts of society. Even though society runs on sexuality, they were the girls that like you keep over there, but you still have your wifey at home, and like, you know, but they made it poppin'. They made all the wifeys fall into being into this kind of look, you know? All the girls that were probably shading them in the early 2000s, or they trying to, you know, get the lips, get the hips, get everything like them, you know? Yeah,
I totally agree. And not even that, like imagine just all the backlash, and like that's another way and another reason why these women are so strong. Like, because I can't even imagine like how much backlash these people are talking mess, like continuously. Like, you see when you search up your name, it's just nasty tabloids and stuff like that. Like, that could get to a
most
person.
Of it lies.
Yeah.
And people calling you all type of dumb this, dumb that, dumb this, when they couldn't even do half of what you do.
Exactly. Like, I totally agree. Like, y'all need to, all y'all haters, like, cause there's so many haters. All the haters just need to realize, like, what are you really mad at? You mad cause they up or what?
So that's really how I feel. Like, I know we've been talking about a lot of the girls who are phasing out of like the age of being like very hypersexual or like leaning on that. But I feel like there's still an era of girls. They're not trying as hard, and it might not be as overt, but like when I think about Ice Spice, like she's very like laid back. She's very sexual. Her little dance that she do, she don't try that hard, but she has become this like symbol of like what's desirable right now. And even her music content, she's talking about some very sexual things, but I feel like it's not packaged the same way it would have been packaged 10 years ago. It is very interesting to me.
And it's like, I feel like her laid backness and her like demeanor makes it more desirable and more like, wow, she really like just has this like, what happened to her?
No, I'm sorry.
Wait, girl,
I'm thinking.
Okay, but yeah, I feel like Ice Spice really has like this demeanor that's just like, wow, she just like that girl. And it's like a type of confidence that she came out with, and a type of like just, I don't know, her whole persona.
I feel like she's just unapologetically her.
Yeah.
And she's not about to even go back and forth with y'all.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see, because I feel like she gets a lot of hate on the internet. And I wonder, compared to, like, I know other female rappers get hate too, whether it be Megan, Nicki, Cardi, whoever it be.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a certain type of hate that she's getting, and I wonder, does it have to do with her not being the kind of sexual female rapper that we're used to seeing? Like, she's still sexual, but
it's not
like
hypersexual.
It's not hypersexual. She's not really wearing like this. She's still, most of the time, is fully dressed.
Yeah.
Like, she wear her little sweatpants, wearing things that girls on an everyday wear.
Yeah.
But she like do her little bop, and like she talk about sexual things. But I wonder if she would have been promoted like the City Girls or like a Cardi B, like a Megan. Would she have this hate coming to her from guys particularly?
Yeah.
Is it because she's not fully fitting into like the male gaze and what they want?
The camera, sorry y'all, the camera kind of messed up, so we're jumping back into it.
Yeah, we back.
Yes, so Miss Ice Spice, I feel like with her and how like when she first came out, like all the dudes was hating on her, and then I remember like people were tweeting like, oh, she's not gaining the crowd that she like was selling to. Like it's a shit, because all the ladies, like girls liked it more than the guys, but overall, like was she really like trying for the guy? I feel like she was
maybe because she
genuinely
was on a drill beat. We've only seen that from men.
Oh,
like
yeah.
New York drill. I feel like we have Pop Smoke, we have Fabio Foreign, but we haven't really seen a feminine voice in New York drill scene.
Yeah.
So maybe they thought it was supposed to be marketed towards men because it's like a manly genre of music. But she got the girls on her side.
Period. Yeah, and I feel like that's what kind of like made men mad. I don't know, maybe it made them mad, but then it's like, was she really just focused on selling to them? Like I feel like people think stuff
about, it's not about you.
Yeah, like that's
or maybe because she was calling these men munches from the very start, letting them know like you here for what you're here for, but then you could bounce. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I think maybe it was like people just gonna hate regardless because they probably just miserable in their own life. Haters, for real. But overall, we love us some Ice Spice. We love us to empower women, and we love the shift that's going on in the thing too. We love it all for y'all.
Because at the end of the day, women, we love to look at women and to realize, and we hope y'all realize too, that women are so multifaceted.
Yes.
You could be the baddest of the baddest today. You could be super hypersexual tomorrow, and then you could be running the business the next day. Like there's so many layers of women, and I love to see women taking control of their narratives.
Yes.
Not only like it's good to lean into your sexuality, but women also have more to offer.
Yes,
I feel like these women in particular, whether it be Brittany Reiner, which I think she's so interesting.
Yeah.
Like I know we talked about Black China a lot, but Brittany Reiner, like it's something about her. Like I think if she continues to go, she'll be so polarizing as an interviewer or as a because I don't know, it's just something about her. Like she's able to put herself and say, oh, I was wrong for doing this. Yeah. But this is why I did this. And like she's very like straightforward and unapologetic. She doesn't try to hide the bad things about her. Yeah. Which I like. But I can't wait to see these women shift and like start new businesses and like the influence they'll have in a different sector for women. And I'm so excited to see these new girls come up like Ice Spice and all these different girls who are expressing their sexuality in different ways, but not dependent on it through the male gaze. Period. And expanding on that. Yes. And showing the world everything they have to offer.
Period. And I love to see it. We love to see it.
We love to see it.
That is our episode. It was kind of a longer one this time.
Yes, guys. All in all, we are glad that y'all listened to this episode.
Yes, it's a good one.
Yes, I know it was long, but it was much needed. I feel like we got into some good things.
Yes.
And I'm so interested to hear about what y'all think. Like, what do y'all think is next for these women? Do y'all think it's just a phase? Do y'all think they're gonna go back to their old ways? Do y'all think it's gonna be just this is just the start of the shift. Our other girls gonna start to take lead.
Yeah.
And
I love it either way too. I feel like for me, I'm just like, hey, whatever y'all want to do, as long as y'all, and I feel like as long as y'all happy and y'all feel like, and as long as it's not putting nobody else
in danger.
Yeah, or down.
As long as y'all have it in y'all way.
Period.
I love to see and hear and just live and just see women having it their way.
Period.
Because we deserve it.
Yes.
We make this world go round.
Period.
Especially as women of color, we be setting a trend.
Definitely.
Telling y'all what's in. And I hope they continue to set trends and just grow themselves, their businesses, and everything they have to offer.
Period.
And I'm excited to see it.
Me too. Well, this wraps up our episode. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, and
make sure you follow.
Period.
Yeah, y'all can listen to us every Wednesday on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever y'all stream podcasts.
Yeah.
And y'all can tune in to the videos every Saturday. YouTube.
On YouTube.
Yes, come see our beautiful faces. This has been New Girls on the Block.
Yeah. So
bye.